Good morning, friends. Welcome to the session 3 of Spring Cloud Microservices. Thank you for watching my previous videos. Okay, you might know that in our previous videos, I covered how to build a microservices using Spring framework. Okay, and how one microservice discovers other microservices using service registry. What is the role of a gateway? Okay, we know all those things pretty much very well. So how microservices can dynamically occupy a particular port. So we really don't care on which ports microservices run. But the essential component which we are going to cover in this one is inter microservice communication. How microservices are going to communicate with each other. So that we are going to cover in this session. If you didn't watch my previous videos, you can follow the links present in the YouTube. So the core part I'm going to cover in this is how one microservice communicate with other microservice. What is the best patterns to follow? In which scenario, which patterns to follow? We are going to cover. So without wasting much time, let me jump into the whiteboard and explain you what is a microservice communication. Why does that matter? What are the types of communications between microservices we have? Okay. So let me open the board. Like, first of all, you might ask me a first question. The first question what I have is why microservices needs to communicate with each other. I said to you, right, uh, a microservice follows the rules of single logic or single responsibility. We have seen our previous microservices. Employee microservices takes care of only getting employee details. Similarly, payroll microservices responsibility is to get only payrolls details. But these two microservices we want to use and build an application. Like, for example, we built a report microservice which gives the complete employee name, employee salary. So this report microservice has to communicate with employee microservice and also payroll microservice and aggregate the information and show us. So let me explain you. Like, we have two microservices, EMP, employee, okay, which gives employee details, and other microservice what we have is like payroll, which gives payroll details of an employee. So now let me build one report microservice which is going to communicate with employee and payroll and gives complete details like employee name and also salary. So this is how the report as microservice is very essential, right? It is has to communicate with employee and payroll. So how one microservice communicate with other microservice we are going to see in this example. Now you guys pretty much know that one microservice discovers other microservice using service registry. Okay, so like you if you have followed my previous video, every microservice when it comes up it registers with a registry. Registry is nothing but a small microservice which is like Eureka server we used as a registry. Every service that comes up registers with registry saying that it is available. Then we have another component called gateway, where every service, like if you want to access report API, you need to call via gateway. If you want to access employee API, you need to call via gateway. If you want to access payroll API, you need to call via gateway. So let me create one empty board. There are two ways microservices communicate with each other. One is synchronous, synchronous, and other is async. So in this session, I'm going to cover only synchronous. What is meant by synchronous? Like if A microservice wants to talk with B microservice, it waits till B responds back. Sync. So A calls B, get the information and wait till A responds. That is called synchronous microservice communication. Mainly if we have in a transactional nature, right? So if a transactional in nature, if you have few calls, then synchronous is a best pattern. Like A calls B, and if something goes wrong when it is interacting with B, right? So it reverts the transactional stuff. So there is a good amount of literature that is there. Internet covers which pattern of communication is to be followed. You can go through it, but my focus in this session will be mainly on showing you code examples and how those things were. So getting hands on the code is at most important when I made these tutorials. So synchronous is, you only remember, it's like when A calls B, A waits till B responds. There are some other patterns like non-blocking IO, which I'm going to cover, but here what is like A is blocked until B responds. That is what synchronous communication. I'm not going to say what are the drawbacks, advantage, and stuff. So there are two ways to achieve synchronous communication in microservices world. One is like direct, and another one is like indirect. So direct means A talks to B, like A talks to B. Instead of A directly talking to B, it calls via gateway and it calls B. So this is called indirect mechanism. Like A asks gateway to give information from B, and B gateway speaks to B, takes the information, gives it to A. So my suggestion is like, or majority of the people's suggestion is, all the calls in the microservice world should go via this pattern. So even if even if it's in synchronous microservices, if 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 A is speaking to B, it should speak via gateway, not direct communication. Why? There are several advantages. Like you have to, if you have a gateway, right, you will understand what are the calls, how microservices are communicating in between. Okay, you can monitor that at a gateway, how A is communicating with B. If you want to add some security layer, you can add it gateway. If you want to add more additional logging, you can log at gateway. So if you want to add some preconditions, you can always add at a gateway without touching A or B. That's okay. So just blindly, not blindly, just see, this is one of the best pattern. When A want to communicate with B, going via gateway is a right pattern. So A directly communicating with B is not the right way to do. But in this demo, I'm going to show you the both scenarios. Okay, let us quickly jump into the architecture. So you got it right. There are two communications. Here we are going to focus on synchronous. In synchronous, I'm going to explain you both direct and indirect or via gateway mechanism. Let me open up one simple example. So right, we have, sorry, oh God. Now let me explain you the architecture. We have a gateway. We have a employee service. We have payroll. And the new service which I'm going to build is like report service. Okay. These are all gateway binds to 8080, and one important component we have is registry. This binds to 8761. I believe that's right. That's a default port for Eureka service. This is random. We don't know on which port. This is random port which binds. This is also binds to some random port. Right now, the first one, what we are going to say is direct communication. So browser from browser, if someone access a report API like /report/ some 100, someone call, they want to know the report of an employee with ID 100. If something someone they call like HTTP report /100. Once the call comes to report API, it calls directly the employee and directly the payroll. Okay, So you might be asking me question, how report API know about employee and payroll, where they are, where they depend upon. So how report API knows what's the physical location of employee service, where's the physical location of a payroll service? How it gets that information from registry. So report API takes what are the services available in that ecosystem. So in here, how many services we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. All these 4 service information is available with registry. So report API is going to get that information from registry, and using that registry, it is going to call employee and payroll API, and it collects the information and sends it back to the browser. So this is what direct here. Report is calling employee direct. Payroll is also called, sorry, report is calling payroll direct. That is what called direct communication. So I'm going to show you with simple example, and I'll walk you through the code as well. I think I forgot one important thing. This entire session is available in my GitHub repository. Like if you can see here, there is a GitHub repository which I created. You can clone it and you can play this entire thing. So I slightly documented the whole architecture as well. Okay, now the first step, what we are going to do is we are going to build the code. The code is in this Git repo, Spring Cloud Session 3, inter microservice communication, how microservices communicate with each other. You can clone that repo. And the first step, what we are going to do is maven clean install. So let's build the artifacts. The reason to build artifacts is like, I don't have artifacts in the repository. Artifacts are nothing but the binaries which you run the code. So sorry, I think I have somewhere the API running. That's the reason the build got failed. Mm, Let me do a one more fresh build. I'm not able to catch which tab I have the service running. I think gateway somewhere it is up. Report API via gateway. I think this tab, I killed the process, no issue, but okay, no issues. I think I built the components, not a problem. Something might have gone wrong. Uh, Let me go back and see what it is saying. Fail to clean the report API gateway. So I killed the process report API gateway via gateway. Okay. Report API via gateway. Install. Sometimes this can be really irritating. Okay. So sorry friends. So there was a slight disturbance while I was recording. Uh, the, the actual problem is like one of the Java process got stuck and the operating system is not allowing me to clean. So I use JPS utility, which shows what are the running Java processes, and I directly kill using that the process ID. So this is one of the tip which you can follow. So because the process is running, the Maven is not allowing me to clean the build. Okay, nevertheless, keep that aside. So now what we are going to do is we are going to build the code. So to build the code, we can do mvn clean install. This is going to build the code, and you know that the code is there in my Git repo. You can clone it. So this is my Git repo where you can clone and the necessary artifacts. So first thing is the registry, right? Registry we need to start. Then we have employee API, payroll API. Then the other thing is report API direct. Report API direct is like this. Report API is going to call employee and payroll API directly and give the report back. Okay, now let's run that scenario and see how the things, how report API is calling employee and the payroll API. Okay, now Java jar. So now I will start registry, target registry dot jar. So this will start the registry. This command is going to call start the service registry, which is nothing but Eureka server. You already know it pretty well, which I explained in my previous session. Now let me run the employee Java jar employee target employee API. So you already know every time when an microservice comes up, it register itself with the service registry. So that is a very common pattern. Now let me run report API direct. Okay, so Java -jar report API direct target and report API dot jar. So the report API is also getting started. Now the last process that we are going to start is like the gateway. Gateway is like every request go via gateway. So Java -jar gateway target gateway.jar. So I started the gateway process. Once again, the gateway also register itself service registry. So if you see the diagram, right, we started employee, payroll, report, gateway, and registry. Registry is the first server. If you want to see whether all the services are up or not, you can watch the Eureka service registry. Here you can see employee API is up, gateway is up, and one more important thing which we forgot is we didn't start the payroll API. So let me rename the tab is payroll. Okay, now Java jar payroll target payroll API. So payroll API is also comes up and it register itself with the service registry. Okay, so now you see here, now the payroll API also came up and it registered with the registry. So now let me explain you a little bit of code, then I'll explain you how do I run it. Okay, we run all the necessary component. The use case here is report API is going to call payroll and employee API by fetching information from the service registry. So the report API is going to fetch various employee API, payroll API from registry, and it is going to call directly the employee and payroll API. If you go to the code, the whole logic works here. So if you see my report controller, right, when someone say that report API direct call employee ID, someone gave an employee ID, they want the complete employee details, like what is his name and what is his salary. So the URL, the REST URL I have here is in the report API direct. It is like here. If you go through the code, you will understand it's pretty trivial. It's nothing simple Spring Boot client. It's a Spring Boot REST API program, and where it uses Eureka client to get the information, and where it uses Ribbon client to call the employee and payroll API. I'll explain you that also a little bit. So the whole logic grows here. So right, the REST template is a Java client library which used to call a REST API. So the employee API and payroll API is also both are REST APIs. If you closely observe, there is no host name or the port what we gave. We just gave the application names. So the employee app name and payroll app name. but what exactly they translate, where they are, okay, so that is done by the Spring for us. Okay, that is going to be done by the uh, REST template automatically with the ribbon client. So if you understand, the report API calls registry and gets application names. So now the application names are like what? Employee, payroll, and gateway is also one of the application, right? One of the microservice. The registry, the report API gets that from registry. So it knows where is now employee and payroll API. And the REST template has the application name, right? It is going to resolve that. This one thing which you need to understand. If you understand this, this is very trivial. Okay. How do report API discovers employee API? Okay. It calls the registry, get the information, and based upon that name, it is going to understand where the URL is, where the resource is. So that is what. So here, this employee API name should match with this. So this is done by REST client, and there is a ribbon client. Okay, there is another component called the ribbon client, which is available in the report API itself. And report API has two clients, ribbon client and REST template. Ribbon client, if there is a multiple employee instance, right? If you have another employee instance, it is going to do a load balance. That's what this flag. So you said load balance. What is this client side load balance? That's the reason people call it a client side load balance. So if there are two employee instances, you create, you run microservice, another instance get created, then this load balance flag will do in a round robin fashion and get the information. So that is what you need to understand. Simple REST template you can use, and get for entity, it do a HTTP get and reads employee details. So here, the only drawback with this implementation is it's a direct communication. So report API is directly talking to EMP and payroll API, which is not a right way to do in a real world. Why? I already explained you, because you cannot add cross-cutting concerns. Like you cannot know how microservices go communicating with each other from a single location. If everything goes via gateway, that is a right pattern. We are going to see that. So let us, now you understood the code. I'm not going to go through each and microservice and explain. If you see my previous videos, you will understand. This is nothing but a simple Spring Boot REST application. Nothing complex about it. Only it is going to have is like Netflix Eureka client, because it registers with the registry at the same time. It fetches that information. It fetches what are the healthy services information. Now let me, I have one, uh, so I have a Postman collection. Here you can see localhost, report API direct, and the ID. So this is going to get invoked. Report API direct and with an employee ID 100. If I do a send, I can see that employee ID with 100, his name is Alex and his name is salary is 65,000 US dollars. This is coming from employee API. This is coming from payroll API. We aggregate and show. Some people call it a report API as like an aggregate service as well. So if I want to see the report for 101 employee ID, you can see the 101 employee name is Tom and his salary is 90K US dollars. So now you understood what is a direct communication, how one microservice is communicating with another microservice using REST template, but this pattern is not a right pattern to follow. The next pattern is like indirect pattern, which we discuss. This is also a synchronous pattern. We go via gateway. So now we are going to communicate via gateway. You might have already got the code. Instead of setting it as an employee, if you say gateway and gateway, that's all. The rest of the code is same. So if you, instead of employee, you just say go via gateway application, you just name it as a gateway here, then things automatically happen for you. Let us start the gateway service as well. uh, Sorry, let us start the report API via gateway as well. Now Java jar report API via gateway target report API via gateway.jar. So now the report API coming up, it register itself with registry, and it before till it comes up, let me show you the report API code. Similarly, src main Java report API application report API controller, as you guys thought, right? So it has gateway and gateway. Because we exposed employee service and payroll service via gateway, that's the reason if someone calls via gateway, that is also fine. So now indirect communication, what is happening is, now we have gateway, employee, we have payroll, and we have report. So once in, this is what indirect communication. Okay, once a request comes to gateway, it comes to report, and what report does is it don't directly communicate with payroll. It calls gateway, and gateway calls employee. At the same time, it calls gateway for payroll, and payroll information it calls like this. So there is no direct communication. It happens via gateway. This is the only change. And the other thing what you need to do is, in terms of code, you need to establish those routes. If you see the gateway src main Java resources, all the magic is here. So you expose the employee and payroll roles. And similarly for via gateway and via direct to web applications, which I'm having, I expose those routes also. So let us call the API in an indirect, sorry, via gateway, that report API, which is doing via gateway calls. Okay. So let me send, and same Alex, and his salary is 65,000. Let me get Tom salary. So an employee with 101 as an ID, his salary is 90K. So all you need to understand is one simple thing. You are using REST template along with ribbon client to do a communication. So a microservice identifies either microservices available or not from registry, and all the communication needs to happen via gateway. These all things you need to understand. Then you understand this synchronous synchronous pattern. The main problem with synchronous pattern is like there is a direct coupling between the APIs, right? If what are the disadvantages with synchronous, and why do you need to go with asynchronous? So my next tutorial, I'm going to cover the asynchronous form of communication. So let me go to the slides and talk what are the drawbacks of, sorry. So what are the drawbacks of synchronous communication? Tight coupling, right? Now, if there is a change in the employee API, or if there is a change in the payroll API, then there is a direct impact on the report API, because it has to know the interfaces. If there is a change in the interface of employee API, report API will break. So brittleness between the services. If one service, like for example, employee API is taking a lot of time, Then the report API waits till employee API finishes. And that causes a slowdown in the system. If particular service is down, the entire system gets down. Okay, inflexibility in adding services. If you add some more service, like if you want to add a mail service, then report API code needs to be changed to send email. So these were the big problems with synchronous form of communication. To overcome that, we will use asynchronous form of communication. So what is asynchronous is like you fire and forgot. Okay, you send request and you forgot, then automatically the things happens. Like few people call it event driven architecture. I'm going to, once I cover asynchronous communication, I'm going to explain you. So this entire blog, this entire tutorial is covered in the example. Even you can use curl command to do that. So I have an example curl also. How can you call? So like this, you can use the curl command to access the services. Okay. And there is a Postman collection in the source code as well to play with it. That's about microservices communication, specifically the synchronous pattern, in synchronous, via gateway and direct. Thank you for watching the video.